Hi, I'm Rebecca from Little Adventure Shop, and in this video I'm going to show you how to choose the right rucksack for your child's DofE expedition and also how to get the right fit. Okay, so most children, when they start their DofE awards, they're going to start at bronze, and they'll be between the ages of 13 and 14 quite often, and then they might go on and do their silver and gold later on. The thing is, if they're doing a walking expedition, the amount they need to carry doesn't massively change between all the expeditions, because they'll still need to carry at least part of a tent, their own sleeping bag, a change of clothes, waterproofs, a cooker, and it's only really the amount of food they carry that alters with the expedition. So even if you're just doing bronze, you're going to need a rucksack with quite a big volume. So you're going to need at least a 60-litre rucksack. But of course, you're buying it probably for your 13, 14-year-old child, and they're likely to grow, well, they will be growing still. And so in order to get most use out of a rucksack, it's a really good idea to buy one that has adjustable shoulder straps. And by that, I mean something like this. So this is the Osprey Ace Rucksack. And when I say adjustable shoulder straps, I don't mean these straps down here. I mean this bit here. So you can actually pull these things out here and then actually increase the height of the shoulder straps. So this means as your child's torso length increases, you can make the rucksack still grow to fit them. So there are various brands that do these. This one is Osprey, like I said. This is kind of quite a high-end DofE rucksack. Slightly more affordable are the Vango range. Again, it's the same idea, they just have a different method of doing it. With this one, it's a Velcro strap, and you just lift it up and down, and they've written the torso length here to help you. And then there's the Vango Sherpa, which is a favourite of DofE instructors because it's actually something that the child can adjust once they've got it on. Again, it has the torso length here to give you a guide. So I would really recommend that, because then they can use that rucksack right through and maybe even take it onto festivals, etc. when they're 16, 17 years of age. So it's worth investing in a good rucksack, because the amount of weight they have to carry isn't insignificant, so you want to make sure it's going to be possible to get the rucksack to fit them. So in the second half, I'm going to show you how to fit the rucksack. Okay, so I've been joined by my very enthusiastic teenage model here. So the first thing you want to do, particularly if your child's on the shorter side, is you want to measure their torso length. The reason for this is you want to make sure that the rucksack that you're buying has the ability to shrink down small enough to fit them. So to measure a torso length, you're just going to take a tailor's tape measure or a bit of string if you haven't got one, and then you're going to go from the top of their pelvis here, the bony bit at the top, trace that round to the middle of their spine, and then get them to put their chin towards their chest, and then the very prominent vertebrae that sticks out here, you're going to measure to the top of this. So we're going from here, whoops, to about here, and I know that's about 46 centimetres here. So we've already set a rucksack up, which is actually on the lowest setting. So pop that on, so the back length should be right for her. Now the next thing is a common misconception that many teenagers in particular make, is that they try and take all the weight through their shoulders and they kind of ignore the waist belt altogether, where in fact it should be the other way around. You should be taking the majority of the weight through your waist belt. And the waist belt is a bit confusing. It's actually better to call it a hip belt, because you want it round the bony part of your hips, not round the smallest part of your waist. So here we go, and tighten it up nice and tight like that, so it's nice and low on her hips there and really tight. So if you turn sideways, you can see she's really taking that weight through her hips there and nothing on the shoulders at the moment. So once you've got that sorted, then you can just tighten up the shoulder straps here. And what we're looking for here is that there's a nice smooth line around the shoulder strap here that's following her shoulder, and we don't want a big gap like this or it being too tight. And if it's too tight, it will pull the waist belt up. So you might have to juggle around with it a bit, loosen the waist belt, tighten up the shoulder straps and just get the right balance between the two. But that's what you're looking for, a nice smooth line there with full contact right the way around the shoulder. And then you'll notice here that the rucksack itself is really falling backwards. That's because these straps here that are called the load lifters haven't been tightened up. So when you pull these forward, it brings this rucksack right forward, and that moves the centre of gravity over the hips and the knees, which is what we're trying to achieve. So don't forget these, and make sure they're not too tight, but just nicely tensioned so that the rucksack's kind of sitting slightly forward over the hips. And then if we just turn around, the last strap I'm going to talk about is this. This is the chest strap. again, on these types of rucksacks, they're all adjustable, so you can move them up and down here. And if you adjust that up, all it does is it pulls the rucksack strap slightly inwards, and it stops them sliding around, and also means that particularly if it's hot, you don't get any sort of chafing around here, because it just keeps them away from the edges of your arms slightly. So there we go. One last little tip if you want to be a pro. If you use these, you can use these as you're actually walking as well, to help keep the centre of gravity. So as you're climbing uphill, you'll lean forward slightly, and so the centre of gravity comes forward, and you can pull these and tighten them up and move the rucksack forward to help keep the weight again over your hips and knees. And likewise, when you're going backwards, you can release it. And, oh, sorry about the plane going over there. And that will again just move the centre of gravity backwards, again keeping it more central for you over your hips and knees. So there we go. So we're going to do another video about how to pack your rucksack, but I hope you found this useful. If you've got any comments, as usual, pop them below and we'll get back to you. And as always, if you liked it, please do like it and subscribe to our channel. Many thanks.